Welcome back. Today I'm going to try something that I haven't tried for about 2 years. And the reason that I decided to do this is because the YouTube algorithm for suggesting recommended videos is a little off. Even though I make videos almost every day and upload videos almost every day, a lot of times what new viewers to my channel get is my really old videos. And very recently, a new subscriber commented on a very old video that YouTube had recommended to them where I was trying to get a checkmate with a queen versus a knight. Today I'm going to try to teach and or learn the queen versus knight checkmate. And at the time I was still trying to learn basic endgames, but because they commented on that video, I looked at it and I realized I needed to update that video. So I'm going to switch over to the Lichess board editor here. If you're not familiar with this, you get to it by the tools menu and board editor. And here you can move the pieces around to set any position that you want. But if you want to practice some recommended basic endgames, there's a set the board menu, and when it drops down, you can practice a bunch of openings here, or you can scroll down to a bunch of endgames. There's a little subhead here that says endgame positions. So you can practice a checkmate with queen and rook, with 2 rooks, with a queen, and so on. There are pawn endings, but queen versus knight is one that seems pretty difficult if you haven't done it before. So I'm going to click on that and it'll give you this position, and you have the options to go to the analysis board to see what Stockfish would recommend, or you can continue from here, which is what I'm going to click. I don't know what it'll show me. I'll play with the computer or with a friend. I don't know if any of my friends are available right now, but I want to do this against Stockfish, so I'm going to click play with the computer, and I'm going to choose the strongest level of Stockfish here, because if I know how to do this, I should be able to win the position, and I'm going to play with the white pieces. Now, real quick, let's reiterate a few things we know about endgames with the queen here. We know we can't checkmate with the queen alone, that we're going to have to bring our king at some point in order to force their king back to one of the edges of the board where we can checkmate it. What we don't want to do is put our king in a position where the opponent can immediately fork us with the knight, where they could capture our queen because we'll be in check and have to move the king. And then it'll be over and it'll be a draw by insufficient material because they can't checkmate us with just the knight. We don't want to draw. We should be able to win. So keeping those 3 things in mind, I think that was 3 things. 1, we have to get their king to one of the edges of the board. 2, we're going to need to bring our king to help checkmate. And 3, we don't want to put our pieces in a position where they can fork us and win our queen and it'll be over. Okay, so we have several options here. We can check over here. We don't want to check there because that's where the knight can take us, right? I can check down here, or I could just move the queen a little closer. Now from there they could attack our queen, but I don't know that they would want to. I honestly don't remember what I played on the first move or any of the subsequent moves in that old video from 2 years ago. But let's start by drawing the box here, which I'm going to put my queen here, which will draw a box around their king. And they don't have to move their king. They could move their knight if they want to. But basically, we're going to try to trap the king into a little box and see what they play. Well, that was embarrassing. I'll have to try this again later when I have a little bit more time. All right, hopefully I've either deleted or edited my first attempt at which I did not make it, but let's try this again. I'm going to bring my queen here to draw the box smaller. I assume the knight will move to attack my queen, and then I will check and see where I assume they'll block with the knight. No, they moved the king closer to the knight. I will check down here. I'm going to go a little faster this time because I don't want to waste a bunch of your time. I can check here and draw the box a little smaller, and maybe get my king a little closer. Let's see, if I check this way, the king has to go here. What I want to do is try to get that knight, but I don't know how exactly. And that's the problem with all of this. For example, if I check over here, the king can just come closer to the knight. So maybe I should bring my king again. I know they can check me, but then I can bring my king again. Let's bring the king. If they do check me, I'll get closer. They didn't. Okay, I can come closer and I'm not in danger of being checked here. They've blocked my queen from getting back to this spot, which is kind of what I was looking at. But if I drop my queen back, my king and queen will be cutting off these squares and that one, and the knight won't be able to move, so the king would have to come away. And if it went to any 2 of those, I can get the knight, but if it went up, I don't know what I would do then. I guess kind of slink around? Because what I couldn't get the bot to do in the previous one was let me take the knight. And that's what it did for me 2 years ago, so I don't know if it's gotten stronger or what the problem is here. Now let's see, if I bring my king closer, they can check me, but then I can move the king this way. Let's try that. They check me, I'll bring the king over here. They've moved the knight away, So I can draw the box smaller by checking right in front of the king, but I still won't be able to get the knight because they're going to be forced to move back to protect it. Okay, but I do have the opposition with my king, so I could check over here. That would also force the king back. Let's try that. Okay, it did come back. Now if I come forward, they will be able to check me, but I think I would be okay because I won't be forked at that point. They did check me. Okay, I think I'm safe to move here because they would not be able to fork me at that point, even though that's a forkable position. But what I'm trying to do is to get the king to come away from the knight. But if I come here, the king can stay next to the knight. And if I come here, then they can check me again. And I think that's the position we were just in. But what if oh, I'm in check, so I can't check them. Okay, I'll try this. Think they're going to come forward with the king? They did. Okay. I can't take the knight because then we get a draw. I can't check here or here, or here or here, because the knight's guarding all those squares. Let's put the queen back here and see where the king goes, or see if they try to attack. They didn't. Okay. I can't come toward the knight, but I can draw the box smaller, but I think the king will just go toward the knight. Let's see if that's what happens. If it goes, oh, I can't go there. Okay, it did go toward the knight. Now I can check here, but the king goes behind the knight. Well, it wouldn't come out because then I would get the knight. Okay, so if I check on e7, the king, I think, is forced to go back there. And then how do I go about getting that knight? That's the question. Let's try this. King has to go back behind the knight. I can't bring my king because of the knight. If I go the long way around, they fork me, so I don't want to do that. But I do have the king trapped in a really small box. It only has 3 squares available to it. If I try to pen the knight, then the king can come out. So I think I want to bring my king around maybe the long way, where I can't get forked, and see what happens. Let's try this. I assume they're going to attack my queen with the knight, and I will just move away like this, keeping the king trapped on the edge of the board. Now they can check me. Well, they could have checked me here, but I don't know that it would have done them any good. I want to come toward the knight as much as possible because I want my king to be over here in the end so I can checkmate. Okay, and the king is still trapped on the edge of the board. So let's start bringing my king here where I cannot be checked. And in here where I can be checked, but I would take it. Let's see, if I play king to c6, they can check me, but then I will just come toward them. Yeah, if they check me, I will come toward them, and then when they check me again, I will come toward them. Then they would not have any checks left, and the king would only have 1 legal move. I think that's my plan here. I come toward them, they check me, I move over, and then I think I have mate coming up pretty soon. Now, when I take the knight, then they will only have a couple of legal moves, and then I'll have mate. Okay, I got it this time. Well, I need to, if I go down now, they get out. And if I check here, they come over. So let's bring the king. They have to go back, and then I'll have mate. Well, that worked out better than the first time. I think I should try it one more time just to make sure that I've got it. All right, here we are. And I think what I did was come this way, but I don't know if that was best. And we determined I can't put my king here because then I'll lose immediately. So let's go this way, trying to trap the king on the back rank. Okay, it is attacking my queen. So let's get out of danger. I assume it'll go to protect the knight. It did. I can bring my king. It's a kind of a waiting move. Okay, they can't check me from there. But if I bring my king anywhere, then they can check me. So can we draw this box a little smaller? I think this is a little smaller. Okay. Now I can bring my king. They can check me from there, but they cannot check me from here. So let's bring the king. We're limiting the spaces where their king can go, is the idea. They've attacked my queen. This is where I just was, isn't it? Okay, but they can't get it from there. They go back, then I can bring my king again. Oh, they've checked me. Okay, well, I can bring my king, and I'm not in danger of being forked right now, but they can check me again. But they didn't. Okay, they could have checked me over here or over here, preventing me from checking here. Okay, but I can check this way, but that lets the king out of the box. So should I bring my king again? Could check me, but then I can bring my king. Can't bring my king here. Or should I check them? Knowing that they can't come this way and all those squares will be cut off as well, but that makes the box bigger though. I want the box to stay as small as possible. Okay, let's see if they check me again. Where they check me? I think they're going to check me over here. They did, okay. And I don't want to come to d2 because then they'll fork me, but I do have to move the king. Okay, e1, they can check me there. I kind of hope that they do, but they didn't. They attacked my queen. Okay. So let's make this box a little smaller again, and I'm trying to keep my queen and king distant enough that they cannot fork me. Okay, now I can bring my king again, but they could check me again. So let's bring the king this way. All right, and can I draw the box a little smaller now? Now we're sequestering the king on these 3 files, which is what I'm trying to keep doing. If I come forward, they can check me. If I come forward this way, they cannot. So let's try that. And now I can't bring my king any closer, and they can get out of the box. To put the box here now, they can't check me here. And bring my king, but then they fork me, so that's not good. But I can't bring my king to any of those squares, because 2 of them would be check, and 1 is where they would fork me from. Let's see, if I come down here, they can attack my queen, but cannot fork me, and that draws the box even smaller, which is the goal here, is to get the smallest box possible. Now if I bring my king, they can check me, but that's a bad idea. Let's see, if I bring my king, anywhere they check me from, I win the knight, and then it'll be easy after that. So I think I'm safe to bring my king now. And here I can check, and they have to go back. But I want to draw the box smaller. How do I draw the box smaller in this position? And also check here, but again, they can go back. So either one of these squares that I check from, they can go back. But I think I should check on F5, because then when they go back, I was going to say I could safely draw the box smaller, but then they just get out the other way. How do I keep them from going back? If I come up 1, they can't come back that way for sure. They'd have to go back 1, and then I can bring my king. Okay, let's do that. They either have to abandon the knight or go to F7. And I think here I can bring my king. Let's do that. And again, they have to either abandon the knight or move the knight in this case. And now I can check them and draw the box even smaller. They could have forked me, except they're in check. So now once they move, I have to make sure that they cannot fork me here. So let's draw the box really small. Oh. If I move there, then they can fork me over here. So let's be really careful as possible. Actually, you know what? They're on 2 ranks now, so what if I just drop my queen back for a minute? They'd be able to check me, but I think that's okay. I just don't want to be forked. So now when they check me, they didn't, okay. But their king is in a very small box right now, which I enjoy. So let's try to bring the king. Well, I can't bring it this way now, but I can keep the box small, which is the idea. So let's come back here where they cannot check me. They can attack my queen, but they can't check me. See, if I bring the king, they can check, and if I put the queen over here, they can just go back. See, if I bring the king and they check me, then I can put the king over here on E8, and I think I'm okay. Let's try that, because I want to get that knight out of there. They did check me. Okay, now I've come back. They can't fork me, and we're getting close, I think. Can I draw the box smaller without them forking me? Let's draw the box smaller so their king will be trapped on this. No. If I play there, the king gets out this way. And if I bring my king, then they fork me, which is bad. But if I bring my queen over here to G4 and they go behind, then the knight is pinned, and I could make a waiting move like coming closer, so they couldn't come out this way. Okay, let's try that. Okay, now I can check and win the knight, right? And once the knight's out of there, I'm fine, even if the king gets out of the box. See, if I check here, they have to get out of check and they can't block. Okay, so I've got the knight. I'm going to win this. Check. And let's trap the king on the side rank there, and then, or the side file, I should say, the H file, and then just bring the king. Okay, well, I did it twice in a row, once on their back rank, once on the H file. After that embarrassing start, I think I've got this again. It's just really difficult. I suggest if you haven't practiced this lately to try it yourself. You can also set this up on chess.com, but there they don't have the position pre-made for you that I know of. You go to the analysis board and select the part where you edit the board and set up the pieces in the position that you want, and then you can play that against any of the bots or the strongest level of stockfish. Here on Lichess, just go to Board Editor in the Tools menu, and then you can pick the position from the drop-down list, Queen versus Knight. As always, thank you for spending your time here. I'll see you next time.